All right, my name is Tom McConnon, and today I wanted to share with you what's new with Pluralsight and how it provides you with the fastest path to building tech skills. But before I dive in, I wanted to set some expectations around what I'll cover today. So first off, I wanted to share some announcements that we made at Pluralsight Live, talk a little bit about a particular customer challenge that's been really pressing lately, go through a couple product demos, and then share a little bit about what's next, and then we'll get you back on your way. So as many of you know, we hosted Pluralsight Live, our annual Tech Skills conference, earlier this year in August. And it was a phenomenal event. Over 3 days, we had keynotes from Ellen, from Trevor Noah, from that insane free climber Alex Honnold, and Mythbusters Adam Savage. We featured our partners and tech titans, Google, Microsoft, and Amazon. We had more than 70 breakouts with some of tech's brightest thought leaders and practitioners. One thing I thought was really awesome is we reached gender parity across all of our speakers. And we had Weezer perform, which I personally loved. But really, it was about bringing people together to learn about tech and how to develop tech skills at scale so their organizations can compete. And while we were there, we announced some pretty cool things that happened over the last 12 months. For example, we acquired a company, GitPrime. We partnered with Google Cloud. We joined the AWS Marketplace. We helped more than 300 nonprofits via our social impact arm, Pluralsight One. We saw 300,000 Role IQs started, where people could progress along their journey to measuring their proficiency in a functional role. We also added some new platform capabilities like custom roles for Role IQ, the skills progress analytics, Q&A, which allows people to ask questions and get answers from knowledgeable experts within their organization. We also launched 11 new Role IQs and 80 plus new skill IQs. And zooming out for a minute, that means more than 2.3 million skills have been measured on our platform. That's something that we're really proud of. We are the destination for measuring technology proficiency. So you know how I mentioned we acquired GitPrime? Well, I'll tell you more about that in a few minutes, but what it meant for us immediately was that we became a multi-product company. And we did it to solve an even greater number of technology leader challenges. But that meant that we had to consider our naming. So up until this point, Pluralsight has been the name of our company and our product, as you probably know. But now that we have multiple products, we decided our core product needed its own name. So we opted to go the simple and direct route and just call it Skills. So Pluralsight Skills is the name of the product that you're likely all familiar with today. Now, one of the things that we talked about at Live was about all of the pressures that are being applied to tech leaders, from the need to set strategy, to drive innovation, to, cloud security, data. All of these things are on the shoulders of the tech leader. Not the least of which challenges was creating what we call a supply chain of innovation. And by that I mean a reliable, repeatable way to create new experiences that matter to your customers and to the market. Now, it all starts with the company strategy, or how your company is going to compete by serving its customers better than anybody else. But more than ever, an organization's tech strategy is its company strategy. What do I mean by that? Well, one example I like to use is thinking about a 100-year-old bank that's going through digital transformation. That's fueled by technology. Or on the other end of the spectrum, the hot fintech startup that's using tech to disrupt all of those old banks, all these incumbents, or to come up with entirely new business models. All of this is happening and is being fueled by technology. But to execute your tech strategy, you need people with the right skills. And once you have those people with the right skills, then they're going to go off and they're going to apply those skills to ultimately deliver the innovation that makes your organization unique and valuable. So it's imperative that organizations develop this supply chain to crank out innovation so that they can stay ahead. But let's rewind to this one again for a moment. So I've talked to hundreds and hundreds of tech leaders, and I've seen firsthand that tech skills development is where the proverbial train goes off the tracks, if you will. And it makes sense, right? Like with the pace of technological change, how are you going to keep up with this? Do you think you're going to hire your way through it to get all the skills you need, or are you going to reskill, or are you going to upskill? Our tech leaders are starting to think about what their strategy is for this. Now, at Pluralsight, we're committed to being the partner that can help you solve this problem that you and all of your peers are dealing with. Now, we have 2 products that are laser focused on helping you solve this tech skills development challenge. The first is our skills product, which again you've known as Pluralsight. And the second is our suite of ProServe products, which I'll talk about a little bit later. But first, let's talk about what's new in our core skills product. Now, I want to start with an update on authors, because that's where all of Pluralsight's amazing content comes from. One cool stat, we're now up to more than 1,500 authors from all around the world. This is the most elite group of technology experts out there, and they're available to you. This is something that, a resource that you can access on demand whenever you need. One other cool stat that I really like is we accept fewer than 6% of applicants to become authors. Now, if you're keeping track, that's a lower acceptance rate than MIT. Now, we're diligent about vetting our authors so that you and your learning teams don't have to. And we're finding efficiencies in our author acquisition process so that we can deliver the content that they create faster. For example, this year, newly approved authors grew 162% year over year. So we're adding more authors than ever. And all of this while maintaining our high standard of excellence around the content that they create. Now, what are these authors focused on? Well, if you're familiar with Pluralsight, you know that we cover a wide array of technology areas that are essential to running your business. But to keep pace with innovation and the shifting technology market, we've made a strategic decision to invest extra heavily in the areas you see here. We've doubled down in 2019 with huge investments in cloud, AI, ML, data, and security. And we're not letting off the accelerator in 2020. So if these areas are of strategic importance to your business, there's a lot more in the platform today than maybe you realize, and there's a lot more coming in the near future. But let's double click into cloud for just a minute. We talked a lot about cloud at Pluralsight Live this year. We know from market research that 80% of companies are pursuing a multi-cloud approach. All of you on the call today are likely moving to at least one or more cloud providers. Now, Pluralsight, we are partners with the 3 largest cloud providers, with Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud, Amazon Web Services. And with over 250 courses, 15 roles in Role IQ, and 70 plus skill assessments, we will have achieved nearly 50% growth in our cloud content in 2019 alone, and over 296% growth specific to Role IQ and Skill IQ. So we're investing really heavily in these areas because we hear from you, our customers, that this matters and this is valuable. At Live, we were excited to announce a deepening of our partnership with Azure and the introduction of 5 new Azure Role IQs across the in-demand roles of Microsoft Azure DevOps engineers, data engineers, AI engineers, data scientists, and security engineers. So whether you're just beginning your Microsoft Azure transformation journey or increasing your reliance on Azure services, Pluralsight can help your organization build the skills required to deploy and secure scalable, highly available applications with Azure. That's something that our content helps you do extremely well. Now, we also launched a brand new Associate Google Cloud Platform Engineer Skill IQ. And that's designed to help your technologists get Google Cloud certified in deploying applications, monitoring operations, and managing enterprise solutions. This is in addition to our Google Cloud coverage, including over 40 courses authored by Google Cloud, 2 paths, and now 3 skill assessments. These new additions complement our already impressive cloud coverage from the big 3 and beyond that. So no matter your maturity state or provider, Pluralsight offers one platform with the skills coverage that's required to develop and evolve your cloud strategy. All right, so we've talked about a lot of the things that we announced at Pluralsight Live, both on the content side and on the platform side. You might be wondering, how does this come together? So what I wanted to do is just walk you through a brief demo to show you what that looks like in practice. Now let's stick with this cloud theme that we've had in this webinar today. If I'm a learner, let's say I'm a DevOps engineer, and I want to learn more. Well, I could jump into one of these topic areas like cloud, for example, or I could browse a popular path, a role that's relevant to me, or dive into some hands-on learning with interactive courses and projects. But let's say, as a DevOps engineer, I know exactly what I want to learn today. So I could go to the search bar and just type it in. I want to learn more about Azure DevOps. You can see our predictive search at work here. If I click on that result, it takes me to a results page where I see a number of things. One, the ability to assess my skill in this area. I can also see the newest, latest, greatest courses in Azure DevOps. I also am served up some potential paths that might be interesting to me. So I'll click on those here and find a path that's relevant to what I want to learn about. How about this one here? This looks right up my alley as a DevOps engineer, Microsoft Azure deployment. So if I click on that course, I want to draw your attention to what's happening in the top right here. As I said before, Pluralsight gives you the ability to assess your proficiency in a given skill, like Azure deployment. If I were to take this skill assessment, or in this case, finish this skill assessment, I'll be served a series of adaptive questions that can help me ascertain with a high degree of accuracy what my level of proficiency is in Azure deployment. And what's even better, and I really want to draw your attention to this, is that at the end of the assessment, I'll be given content recommendations, personalized content recommendations to help me close the skill gaps that were identified in that assessment. But let's say I want to skip that for today because I know exactly what I want to learn. I want to learn more about containerization. So I can browse these different courses here and land on this one, Microsoft Azure Developer Deploying and Managing Containers. That looks right up my alley. And let's say I want to focus on Kubernetes. There's a module that's specific to that I can jump into right away. And if I don't have time to learn at this moment, I can add it to a channel where I can go back and browse it later. Or I can download that course so I could watch it on my tablet, like on my train commute home or what have you. Now, all of this is really valuable to the end learner, to the user, to the Microsoft Azure DevOps engineer. But Pluralsight is also focused on helping technology leaders develop these technology skills at scale for their organization. Let me show you what this might look like for a technology leader. For that, I'm going to jump over into Role IQ because that's a really great place to start. If I want to help my organization develop more proficiency in Azure DevOps, I could go to Role IQ, click on the Partner tab here, and see some of these roles that we've co-created with Microsoft. So here's this Microsoft Azure DevOps Engineer role. What this would prompt the learner to do is to measure their skills in these 6 areas: code flows on Microsoft Azure, dependency management, etc. Now, as a leader, I could go and assign that role to my aspiring DevOps engineers or ones that want to learn more about Azure. But if I'm on the enterprise plan, I want to show you what you can do with role customization. This is something that we introduced this year. If I click on Customize this role, I'm going to take this Microsoft Azure DevOps Engineer role and have the ability to customize it to my specific needs. Now, first, I'm going to rename this. I work for Acme Company, and at Acme Company, a Microsoft Azure DevOps engineer really needs strong testing skills. So I'm going to search through all of the available skill IQs that we have and add one around testing, like this one here. Testing on Microsoft Azure looks really relevant, so that I can continue to adjust this role. And once I'm happy with it, I'm going to go ahead and choose an icon and publish that role. Now again, I can assign that role to learners within my organization, and now all of those learners know exactly what skills are required to be proficient as Microsoft DevOps engineers. And they'll be given the ability to assess their own proficiency and see how they stack up. And it also gives you the ability as a leader to see the talent that you have, the skills that you have on your teams, which will give you an idea of how ready you are to execute against objectives that include Microsoft Azure DevOps. So as the leader, you're going to get unprecedented visibility into all the roles that you have within your organization. And more importantly, a quantified view of people's technical abilities. No other solution enables you to inventory critical roles and skills, as well as see people's skill development over time. Using Pluralsight Skills, this is how you are going to develop skills at scale. This is how you get the fastest path to developing technology skills. What if you aren't even sure which skills or maybe which roles your organization needs to meet its technology and company objectives? That's where ProServe comes into play. Our ProServe team can help you build a custom skills strategy plan that's going to set you up for success. And they can also add value by helping integrate our platform into your existing ecosystem and to onboard technologists into Pluralsight in a really powerful way. Let's switch gears for a moment. So let's say you're a VP of engineering that's been using our skills product to develop the right skills and roles for your team to meet its tech objectives. Your engineers are hard at work, they're building a new product, or, well, they certainly seem pretty busy. But how much data do you have on your engineering workflow? A lot of engineering leaders we talk to are asking themselves this question, like, wait, what's actually happening in my business? And they're asking that because they don't know things like how much time their engineers are spending writing new code versus refactoring old code, or whether pull requests are getting merged efficiently, or whether code reviews are being spread across the entire team. And that's where our third product, Flow, comes into play. With the data that Flow provides, an engineering lead can dig in and help because they finally have the data to understand what's happening. Flow is designed to help engineering teams thrive by giving them the tools they need to, we call it, debug their development process and make better data-driven decisions and ship products faster. How do they do that? Or how does Flow do that, rather? Well, Flow connects to sources like GitHub, Bitbucket, GitLab, and others, and it aggregates commits, pull requests, and tickets into actionable metrics. So check out this quick video to see what Flow looks like in action.
In a data-driven world, engineering leadership has been operating in the dark. Pluralsight Flow gives you the insights to lead world-class software engineering teams. It takes data from code commits, pull requests, and tickets to give you visibility into your software development process, allowing you to better manage and enable your teams. This starts with a detailed view into your team's workflow to help you identify and encourage healthy commits, development patterns, and knowledge sharing. With real-time data on open pull requests and unresolved comments, spot roadblocks with your code review process to help your developers spend less time waiting and more time building. Flow provides insights across all of your development teams and gives you access to view all your historical data, so you can track trends over time and against industry benchmarks. You'll see how business decisions impact engineering effectiveness. And with the added context that comes from objective data, you'll become a more effective coach and better leader. Armed with this data, celebrate your team's success and help your organization understand the work that happens behind every release. It's everything you need to create a more efficient workflow, so you can build better products faster. Try Flow today with a trial on-premise or in the cloud.
I personally love the visibility that Flow provides to engineering leaders. Now, zooming out for a moment, we see a future where our skills and Flow products are integrated in a really powerful way. Now, the first evidence of that is in a new thing that we built called Language Analytics. And this is available in the Skills product, available to customers on our business plans. Now, this visualization allows you to connect Git repositories to your Pluralsight data to give you a combined view of two things here. One, the languages your software engineers are learning, and two, the languages actively being used in your code base. So among other things, this helps you ensure your teams are developing the skills that are aligned to current and future software development initiatives. Like, are they learning the stuff that they will be using as they develop code and as they write software? So thanks for tuning in today. I hope that you saw or learned something new That's going to help you in your effort to develop technology skills at scale. And we're really excited to partner with you on this. And I do want to take a minute to plug Pluralsight Live. So whether you've been before or haven't attended yet, I'd really encourage you to join us for one of our upcoming Pluralsight Live events. One's happening in March in London. There's another one in October in Salt Lake City. And what you'll get a front row seat to the latest in technology, the latest with what's happening in Pluralsight, and also an unmatched opportunity to learn from people that are solving the same challenges that you are. These are your people. These are the ones that are figuring things out and sharing best practices. So the customers that we have love this event, and we would love for you to be there as well.